I never want this country again to swing back to this far left dangerous ideology, which we're still trying to get rid of. So so Donald Trump today is going to sign, 200 executive orders on his first day in office, something crazy like that. Was it 100, 200? And so some of them are significant, some of them are smaller. But I will say, one of the things to me that illustrates best that we're at a turning point in our country is when he outlined this not only in his speech this morning, also at the rally last night, and it's also reflected in these executive orders. Just speaking some very simple truths into existence, like the fact that there are only two genders. Here's a clip.
As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Amen. 100%. Worthy of a standing ovation. And here's the thing about that, is that you could look at that and be like, well, that's some small thing compared to the immigration crisis and the crime crisis. It's not, though. Because what that illustrates is truth matters again. What that illustrates is like common sense matters again. And just that small truth that for some reason, large swaths of this country have thrust us into this insane period of time where you've got lists of like 15 potential genders when you're applying for things, and you can change your gender on your birth certificate and your passport, and that we're expected to call people they, their, or they, them, and use that in sentences. That single issue is so illustrative of how crazy this country's left got, and also how sheep-like people were. And me included, I used to be, not too long ago, if you wanted me to use a particular gender, as long as it was nothing crazy, like I'd try to respect that. But anymore, I'm just like, no, it doesn't make any sense. You're doing it for attention. I'll call you by your name. I'll respect you as a human being. And so that to me is illustrative, to have the President of the United States say, look, there's two genders, man, woman. Like, we're going to respect human beings, but we're not going in and putting all this gender neutral language and all of our important documents and all of these things. That to me illustrates a return to common sense and sanity and the end of the normalization of the extreme gender ideology. He also said this at his rally last night in regards to an issue we care quite a bit about, women's sports.
This is so easy. This will be done tomorrow. We will keep men out of women's sports. It's over.
Now, I don't know if he can do that on day one. Certainly in Washington State, I bet they have something to say about that. We're still trying to figure out if in high schools the WIAA is going to change the rules so you don't have young girls who are forced to compete against biological men. But again, that's just common sense. That's not a controversial issue. It's not a far-right issue. I think if Americans were polled on it privately, it would be a 99.9% issue. It just takes someone completely unashamed, unafraid to stand up and say it. Like, yeah, we're not going to let dudes participate against women. They're biologically much different. There's nothing hateful about that. There's one side that wanted to label that hateful and extreme and all this, and just rejecting that notion is going to put America on a much, much better path forward. And that's the one caution I would say about something that could get in the way of what I really believe could be a period of American exceptionalism. We have to have a return as a country to meritocracy. We cannot enter a period of American exceptionalism. We cannot live up to our potential and promise as a country if we continue to be obsessed with identity politics. Donald Trump can only do so much, and I'll detail some of his first day orders in a second in this realm of DEI and all of this stuff. He can handle the federal governments and the federal agencies and the military and all of that stuff. He can't do much about the states, though. He can't do much about the states and localities who want to continue to push this insane identitarianism, which is completely antithetical to what America is supposed to be about. That, identitarianism preaches that your gender identity, your skin tone, these things somehow make you qualified for certain jobs, qualified for certain positions. I mean, we had the height of identitarianism in Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, that's not even me. Kamala Harris was chosen because of the color of her skin and her gender. Donald Trump promised to pick a black woman as his vice president. So in doing so, he nullified any other qualifications that she might have had. The same with Ketanji Brown Jackson on the U.S. Supreme Court, who, regardless of the color of her skin or her gender, was qualified to be a U.S. Supreme Court justice. You might not agree with her and how her rulings go, but she was no doubt qualified on paper. But when Biden made it about her skin color and her gender, he nullified her merit. To me, and I get it that I'm a white woman, but to me, I would be offended if someone gave me a job because I'm a woman and they said it publicly. We're giving her this job because she's a woman. I would be like, excuse me, am I not qualified? Am I not deserving of the position? I don't want a job. I don't want advancement if it's because of what's going on in my pants and under my shirt. Things, immutable characteristics that have nothing to do with my skill. So the thing is, Donald Trump can only do so much. We have to wake up blue states, Democratic leaders to the dangers of moving America, continuing to move America away from a meritocracy. So that is one thing that absolutely can hold us back, where other countries aren't doing this. You think China is focused on skin color and focused on gender and sexual identity when it comes to moving their country forward? You think Russia, Iran? No, they love it. They love it that identitarianism has seeped into every aspect of American life. So Donald Trump is going to do what he can at the national level to return America to a meritocracy. And unless we can do that in blue states as well, that is going to hinder America's ability to be successful.